What's up? It's James with P2F Fighting. Let's talk about it. I got a anonymous question, and it says, could someone, a state champ in wrestling, beat a black belt in kung fu or karate? It appears to be an anonymous poster. I can't see who posted the question, so I'm just gonna call you anonymous. All right, anonymous. Today's your day. All right. So, could someone, a state champ in wrestling, beat a black belt in kung fu or karate? Yes, I can tell you that because I was a wrestler from like 5 years old to 18. Um, I have seen, I have seen it live. I have seen wrestlers get in fights with martial artists, and I saw some answers on this question. Oh, some guys, oh, you can kick the wrestler in the head because they're bent over in a shooting position, and all of the, it's not realistic. That's not realistic. If you get in a street fight with a wrestler, they're not going to jump down in their wrestling shooting position like a wrestling match. Uh, if you look at MMA, just trying to bring this up because it's very valid, there is always a wrestler that is a champion in mixed martial arts, almost all the time. You forget that wrestlers punch too, but guys who just do wrestling, so most fights go to the ground. I know this not because statistics, but because I was a bouncer for 6 years and I saw a lot of fights, and 90% of them went to the ground. And anytime a wrestler was on the ground, they won that fight. They usually took the other person to the ground. So whether you know martial arts or not, the thing about wrestlers is they're very determined. Wrestling's a hard sport, and I say this as a wrestler, there aren't many sports harder than wrestling. Harder than basketball, harder than football, harder than martial arts, traditional martial arts. Wrestling is a hard sport and not much glory. You do a lot of suffering in wrestling. So these guys are very, very determined and very tough. uh, if a wrestler grabs you, it's over. That's just the way it is. Um, I've just seen it happen too many times. I've seen wrestlers get in fights with people, and some of those people knew martial arts, try to kick a wrestler, doesn't affect them, or it doesn't, or they run right through it. Uh, and a lot of you who are who have not wrestled, who think that a black belt will always win, you don't understand how fast things can happen in a fight. Um, Wrestlers train for shooting for takedowns or for getting close and locking up for a hip toss or for a double leg or whatever, going under the armpit, getting behind. Uh, it happens very fast. So you may think that you are lightning quick, but you don't understand how fast somebody can shoot in on you and just catch you completely off guard. Uh, People can close a distance very, very quickly. And so you may think, oh, he's back there at kicking range. A wrestler will be in your face in a heartbeat. If you try to kick a wrestler anywhere but his legs and they catch your foot, you're going to Slam City. And I've seen it happen. I've seen a wrestler catch a guy's foot and pick him up and completely DDT his ass on the concrete. I've seen it happen. So it's wrestlers, and they still will punch. Like, that's the thing. You're thinking of a pure wrestler fighting a pure kung fu and pure karate, but that's not how a fight will happen. Um, Wrestlers are going to punch too, and so when you're missing ground skill, which is why I always say that the best styles to take is a striking and a grappling, because you need both. When you're missing ground skill and you fight somebody with ground skill, it's going to be exposed. Remember back in the day when Randy Couture fought what was that boxer's name? It was a former heavyweight champion or light heavyweight champion. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. Randy Couture fought a boxer. Just Google that shit. I can't remember what the guy's name was. I'm gonna try to look it up as we're talking here. But Randy Couture, who was pretty much an Olympic level wrestler, fought a boxer, and it was quick. It was quick and ugly. And so it's just James Toney. James Toney. That's who it was. Randy Couture fought James Toney. James Toney was a boxing champion. I'm saying boxing and not kung fu and karate because I believe boxing is better than kung fu and karate in a street fight because it's a ring art. You do more sparring, and he was a top level world champion. It was light heavyweight or heavyweight, but he fought Randy at heavyweight. So you had a top level, multiple belt champion boxer versus an Olympic level wrestler in a sport where you could do both. And Randy took him down and punched his brains out, and it was over real fast. To where then the boxer decided to learn grappling. So yes, you would have more weapons if you're in kung fu or karate, but the difference here is that wrestling is a mat art where you go full force all the time. Kung Fu and karate, you do not do that full force all the time. So you might have all the weapons in the world, but I always feel that if you don't train full contact often, you're not going to know what you can do until you're in the fight. And a wrestler knows exactly what he can do because they fight full force constantly. Whereas Kung Fu and karate do not all the time. Unless you're taking one of those styles that does. Like if you do a Chinese style like Sun Chao, which is pretty much full contact kickboxing with some takedowns, then you will know. And if you're in karate and you take like Kyokushin, which is full contact sparring also, or like the Shotokan class that I took where we fought people off the street sometimes too, like yeah, you will know then. But if you're in one of them classes, one of those McDojos that does step sparring a lot and doesn't do a whole lot of anything real hard, uh, you won't know what you got. But a wrestler always knows what they got, and they always know what they can do. And so, and I will even tell you, after 20, I'm 43, so after 22 years of martial arts, of karate, some kung fu, some Muay Thai, when I get in a fight with somebody, even when I'm just like play sparring, every time I get close, I revert back to wrestling because for me, it's the most realistic thing I can do. We might do some punching and kicking, but once if the person's giving me a lot of heat, I will shoot on them because it's real, it's effective. So yes, could a state champ wrestler beat a black belt in Kung Fu or karate? Absolutely. I've seen it happen a lot of times, and I've seen a lot of guys get slammed on their fucking face because they thought they were tough trying to fight someone who wasn't a black belt. So that's my answer. Like and subscribe. Holla at your boy.